All right, outside of metro sessions now, actually just in the garden during lunch. But yeah, looking forward to continuing this calorie tracking app. So basically, I asked it, I did new session, and I asked it like where we left off, and it kind of just said that there's this spec file, this tasks file, there's an MVP that's done, and that it has my review page. And then now I'm starting to remember, which if you're watching these videos in sequence, you probably just came right from the last video, but I don't like that it like manually added like an Aussie byte specifically like filter so that it always gets Aussie bytes right. So that's annoying. I'll have to change that eventually. Sorry if the airplane is loud. One second. I might just have to work through those airplanes. But so now I remember like, okay, the biggest thing we just did was we changed the model to GPT 5.5. It was on like 5.1 like mini or whatever. So I'm just testing this now. I'm giving it what I had for breakfast. Fruit smoothie, probably 30 ounces fruit, some half and half, and scoop and half of plant-based protein powder. All right, I'm gonna estimate meal. I'll go ahead and pause it. All right, so it's possible that this is right. Fruit in the smoothie though, I don't think that's gonna be 250. So I'm getting annoyed at this point. I do think this might be accurate. This might be accurate. I'm not sure. Let me just put this in Google. Or, you know, better yet, just in ChatGPT. This way I can test if my app is being very smart. All right, this actually took like 30 seconds, but it did do the same amount here. Let's just say, what if you broke down the fruit? I want to kind of see what it would give. Okay. All right, so this is actually being accurate. So I should be less annoyed. That's a good thing. Okay, so let me collect my thoughts and I'll start the video again. Yeah, so I think this is actually working. I kind of want to be able to log in now and like actually track my meals and save them over time. I also want it to, sorry, it's getting really bright out. I also want it to, when it's estimating the meal, like I want it to break it out like this, or like tell me how many cups. I don't like it just says common portion estimate, rough estimate, common portion estimate. So honestly, I think I'm just gonna tell that to my Telegram here, see if AirPods connect to both. So I'm on my phone on the same chat. I'm just gonna do text to speech and see if this is, all right, it is. So now I'm thinking between like, do I really care about this as much as just getting this app working so I can like log in and actually track meals? And honestly, it annoys me a lot. So I'm going to do this first and then I'm going to have it create the whole app. And that'll probably be and I'll probably even like stop the video before it actually completes creating the app because that might take like 10, 15 minutes for it to do where it has like a login and everything, but I'll try to spec it out in this video. So let's go ahead and talk to it about how I don't like this common portion thing and try to get an idea about what it could do instead. I might talk back and forth with it a little bit. So I'm going to use my phone's talk to text, not send a voice message, just use talk to text and then send a text message. Okay, so it's looking really good. I think it might actually be with GPT 5.5, it might be doing an accurate amount, even though it did just change this amount, but that's because, sorry, now I'm talking to you. It did just change the amount of fruit in here. So that's why I kind of wanted to break out what it thinks this is and how it came up to 300, because maybe you're like, oh, never mind. And then you like change some things in here and then resend it. I'm gonna just try that out. The next thing I would like to work on is where it says common portion estimate, rough estimate, or common portion estimate underneath the bold ingredient. I would like that to give the exact amount, not like half and half is, 50 to 150 calories, but like exactly what the AI decided to use as the estimate. So how many, it showed me half and half at 160 calories. So instead of rough estimate, it should show exactly the tablespoons or ounces or cups of half and half that equal 160 calories. Or for the fruit smoothie, for et cetera, it should be telling me, breaking it out and saying 3 bananas plus 2 whatevers, like somehow giving the amount in there, 30 ounces of fruit or something, somehow being a little bit better than what it is now. Period. Let's not update the actual app yet. I want you to kind of spec out and tell me, don't change the spec document or tasks document, but tell me what you think is the best way to move forward with this, and ask any questions if I'm not being clear. All right, so I'm going to go back to my Telegram web and I'm going to send this, and you're going to see it show up on my screen. So I'll go ahead and pause while it thinks. Yes, that makes sense. I would treat this as an assumption display problem, not a calorie estimate problem. Right now, the app is basically saying, hey, I estimated this. What you want is that it's using these assumed quantities. Yep. Keep the bold name, replace generic label with the exact assumption behind the number, make the AI return a structured field for each item's like. Yeah, I mean, that all seems good to me. I don't exactly know exactly what it wants. Okay, then the UI can show half. Yeah, it's going to show 4 tablespoons of 40 calories. Yeah, I like that where it's going to show it. I would not show ranges. Yeah, in the normal UI, it's saying that as if it was its idea, but it was what I just told it. But gotta love AI. The whole point is that the app should commit to a usable estimate that lets you correct it. Yeah. The backend prompt, see, this is what I'm really thinking about too. The backend prompt, do not return vague labels, rough estimate. If the user gives a vague amount, choose most likely concrete serving size and expose the assumption. Yes. Yeah, so there's like for it to give this sort of stuff, the AI is giving this sort of stuff. I do think that it needs to, there is a prompt, there's a script, there's a markdown file or something that the AI is seeing to know what to do with this and make it into this. Like there's text somewhere that it's looking at because it's AI is text based. So it's exposing that. It's saying this is what I'm going to put into that prompt that is behind the scenes. Do you want this to show the actual math or more natural language like? So this is a really good question. I'll just say, just expose the quantity and amount. So for TBS, so not estimated. Let me pause this so while all right, so I don't want it to say estimated. I just want it to feel like it's legit. I mean, obviously everything is estimated. So I said, yeah, I just wanted to say 4 tablespoons of half and half. So like if I'm looking at this, I don't see half and half rough estimate. I see exactly how much of the half and half. Or maybe I don't even need half and half reiterated. It could just say 4 tablespoons. But I don't trust AI with math and stuff, so I kind of want to see it written out. The display target should be 1 banana, yeah, turkey sandwich. Yeah, this is awesome. I think this is a huge thing in AI is like, if I give it a turkey sandwich, I could do that in my calorie app back in the day, but I didn't really know what that meant. But now this is going to be even better than that. Not only is it quicker when I talk to text the app, but also it's going to be like tell me what it's assuming Yeah. I'd spec the change like this. Backend should return a required. If the item is composite food, I don't really have the brain power to read all of this. If the model truly cannot infer a useful quantity, fallback. UI replace gray source, yeah. If the item is composite food quantity display, can list the assumptive component quantity display. The backend should return a required for every item, okay. I think it's talking about what the database is gonna do. It's gonna have this field called quantity display in the database, and that's what's gonna show. Yeah, this looks good. So I'm just gonna say, this looks good. Go ahead and add it to the spec document and then code it into the app. Cool. All right, I'm gonna pause it while it works on that. All right, so I just unpaused it for a second just to show you what my Telegram looks like. I've got this orange text. It's kind of telling me what it's doing. It's updating the markdown file, and it says working. I'm adding the quantity space to the spec first, then I'll wire the Lambda response and UI to show just a quantity. All right, I apologize. It is incredibly bright out, so if I'm squinting, I need to bring like sunglasses. Oh, I have sunglasses. All right, now I'm looking real cool in my shades. So anyways, sorry, that was lame. All right, so it did the stuff. Let's see, I sent this at 12:42 and it came back at 12:46. So 4 minutes, and here comes another plane. I'm just not sure if it's super loud for you guys or not, so I'll pause it. Part of me gets annoyed by all the planes coming by, but part of me is like, they're so cool. I just still feel like a little kid looking up at planes all the time, and I've been here for over a year. But also, how do people sit next to those gigantically loud engines and it's not as loud as it's like the same? It's like less loud than it is for me down here on the ground. I have good soundproofing, I guess. So all of that to say, it updated the spec document and then it updated the Lambda thing, which is like the if this then that sort of functionality within AWS. And then it gave me a new app. So let's go ahead and look at it. And if your Telegram and bot doesn't give you this published app URL all the time, this is something I taught it. I told it, hey, I'm working on a computer a lot of times and I'm using you on EC2. I don't want to have to log into EC2 or like gateway, port into the gateway or whatever to get to OpenClaw, to get to AWS every time. I don't want to log in AWS. Just give me a public snapshot. It's not the biggest deal if somebody sees this app. And so every time like you're working with me, just kind of bias or default towards doing that. So that's it. It put that information in my tools.md file. Of course, this doesn't look like it's working at all. The public URL is just blank. So yeah. So it's probably going to need a few minutes to do that. And with that, we're going to run out of time. I'll give it just a minute. Maybe there's something small and I can demo it to you guys on this video. All right, it gave me another one. Let's see. Maybe it gave me a reason. Time to look at reasons. All right. Let's try this again. I'm going to just do this one. Estimate my meal. Come on. Sorry, I think I'm eating lunch, tired, loopy, hungry. 30 ounces of smoothie. Oh, okay. Well, great. So it didn't work how I wanted it to. Oh, I guess it did. 4 tablespoons, half an hour. Okay. Let's say breakfast sandwich, Kirkland. And then I really gotta go. I wanted to break it out into multiple things, but that works. Fruit smoothie, yeah. Let's make sure that this breaks out into 2 and doesn't like just lump it all together. All right. Hey, It did 4 tablespoons, half and half, 1.5 scoops of plant-based protein. Nice. I would just say, I just want to see like, if it's multiple things, I do want to see like calories after each one. So I'll just tell it that and then we'll be done for today. But cool. That's how you kind of work with and update your app to do a little bit more, or like kind of like update it to, you know, version 1.1, where it's like it's working, we got the prototype going, but now how do you update it? We don't just let it go freely and tell it to do this. Like we talked with it, we had to add it to the spec document, and then we said go for it, and now we're kind of iterating just a little bit. But just, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just the outcome is what's important, not exactly what you had in your head. But again, we're working with it step by step and just making sure that it's spec'd and that it's operational, and then we can move on to bigger and better things like getting the login working so I can save this day to day and come back to it over time. All right, so I'm going to, on my way back to work, I'm going to put this in here that I want it to give me the calories after each thing if it's a list. And so you'll see that in the future apps, and we'll go from there. All right, thanks for joining.